Obviously, Israel's excuse, and Israel's excuse has been for the last 75 years that this is a matter of national security, that it's about, well, if the Palestinians would just stop attacking us, if the Palestinians would just stop fighting, if they would stop bombing us, stop sending rockets over the wall, or right now it's about Hamas. It's about we have to stop Hamas. What I mean, what is your reaction to that to that idea?
Very simple. Nobody will resist if we are not under occupation. If you establish an occupation and impose it on people, depriving them from all their rights, if you steal their land, deprive them from the ability of farming their own lands, if you steal their jobs, if you don't allow them to live in a normal manner and continue to arrest them and put them in jail in horrible conditions, of course people will resist. That's normal. 40 years ago, there was no Hamas. 35 years ago, there was no Hamas. But there was occupation. And at that time, they accused Fatah of being a terrorist organization and the PLO as well, only because people were resisting the injustice of occupation.
Yeah.
Would you have told the people of France that was under Nazi occupation that they don't have the right to resist occupation? So the question here is which standards are followed? Is there a global and universal human rights record and human rights international law? Or there is one for white people and another one for not the so white people? These are expressions of people who are carrying an ideology of white supremacy, who look at Palestinians in a racist manner, and who are supporting Israel regardless of what it does, allowing it to be above the law and above international law and impunitive to international law. Israel is practicing occupation for 56 years. They have practiced ethnic cleansing against us since 75 years. They transformed the system of occupation into a system of apartheid much worse than what prevailed in South Africa. And now they are conducting at the same time 3 parallel war crimes: ethnic cleansing, collective punishment, and genocide. No country in the world was ever allowed to do all of that and be still impunitive to international law. I am not advocating violence. I am known so well for being the most advocate of non-violence in Palestine. I don't want any Israeli or Palestinian to be killed. But if I care about the killing of 32 Israeli children, I should also care, and you should also care, about the killing of 9,000 Palestinian children. It is unacceptable to say that the Israeli blood is holy, but the Palestinian blood is worth nothing. That is unacceptable. This is racial discrimination, and it should not be allowed.
Yeah. They claim, well, it's because we're at war and we're at war with Hamas. And you're right. Hamas has only existed for a blip of time, really, in the entirety of the resistance, of the occupation, of since the creation of the nation, and even prior to that, the Zionist movement in general. Hamas has only been here for just a short period of time. What do you think the solution is? And by the way, it's convenient for them to just say, well, we're fighting Hamas. Well, we're fighting Hamas. And, and I've pointed out, okay,
Because
well, what,
they use Islamophobia, of course.
right. And you're right. It's before Hamas, there was Arafat. I mean, they're going after anybody and everybody. They don't care. They don't like anybody who has an idea of resistance or has an idea, a resisting occupation, whether it even be peaceful. There's even a push against that, which we saw
Exactly.
with the.
If I might say, they're against our right of resisting in any form, and they have boxes to put people in always. If you fight in a military manner, I mean, if you use armed resistance, they call them terrorists, like they do now with Hamas. If you use non-violent resistance, like I do, they call us violent, and they use against us terrible amount of force. If you use only words and only speak against occupation, they accuse you of being a provocateur. If you are a non-Palestinian supporting Palestinian rights, you would be called anti-Semite. And if you are a Jewish person and there are many of those who support Palestinian rights. They call them self-hating Jews. This
Yeah.
is the kind of mentality we are dealing with, and I don't know how the Israeli people feel about the fact that Israel now is in bed with the most fascist